Okay, good. There we go. Hi, everybody. It is, November 2nd. Happy November. And I am Marla Diane of Marla Diane Mentoring. And welcome to Raising Your Wealth Consciousness for Higher Sales Conversion. So today is about a discussion besides, obviously, learning. So there's participation in this if you'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and switch between the screen mode and then, of course, my PowerPoint. So hang in there, and let's hope there isn't any technology challenges. But sit back, go ahead and use your, your chat, and raise your hand at the appropriate times when I go ahead and explain when it's time to open for discussion. And I will unmute you because all you can do is have an audio. There's no visual for you. So I'll go ahead and let you know at the right time. I'm going to go ahead and participate, but I'm going to be in lecture mode. So I won't be able to see anything in your chat box. But again, it's at the bottom of your screen. And excuse me. It's at the bottom of your screen, and we can get going. Okay, very good. So let's do it. Let's see. Go ahead and share my screen. Make sure this works. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, very, very good. So again, welcome to Raising Your Wealth Consciousness for Higher Sales Conversion. And anyone, if you do me a quick favor and just let me know that in the chat box that you can hear me and see me. All right, if you would just do me that one favor, that would be awesome. Sometimes technology wants to kind of do their own thing, but I believe you should be able to see me and hear me fine. All right, so again, I'm Marla Diane of Marla Diane Mentoring International, and today again is November 2nd, 2017, and I welcome all of you and really acknowledge you for being here and taking a look at really what's your relationship with money, not only in the sales, obviously the sales scenario, but also just in life period, okay? All right. So what is wealth consciousness, right? Wealth consciousness in my world is the condition of your belief and your relationship with money and affluence, right? In so much that it will dictate what shows up in your physical space. And here's what a healthy wealth consciousness looks like. You can catch yourself when you're in lack, fear, worry, doubt, uncertainty with money, and use the right mindset tools to shift you so that you live more often, right? You live more often in a space of faith and trust and gratitude and so forth, rather than consistently being in this fear and this worry and shame and guilt and all these things that show up with money. And it's not any fun, and you can't be creative, and you certainly can't operate well when you're in that space. So a lot of what I do with my clients is I help them shift and have tools to move them into a space of peace and calm and serenity and trust and faith that the money not only will be there, but you and your dignity stays grounded. All right. So a healthy wealth consciousness literally says you're able to catch yourself, right? Catch yourself in the moment. Be conscious enough that when you're not in that higher space, I call it the higher vibe, that you're able to shift it, right? And move into then, of course, the faith and trust. Very good. So my intention today is giving you a stimulating, creative, life-changing presentation with an open discussion. And I want you to walk away with several life-changing tips to implement, to implement, I get so excited about this, to implement immediately and see a larger vision for you, for your business, 2008 and beyond, right? And I want you to do this. I want you to imagine moving confidently into 2018 with a new mindset and a relationship with money, right? That raises your confidence and your belief and your revenues, right? Especially, obviously, your revenues. So you're in the planning stages right now, hopefully, of 2018, and you're designing new programs, you're revising your services, you're composing strategies for the new revenues and so forth. You're hopefully looking at your boundaries, right? For work-life balance. That's a big one, huge for all my clients. You're looking at what vacations you're going to be taking, and hopefully you're planning those ahead of time, everyone. Even if you don't know quite yet where you're going to be, I highly recommend, this is a side note, please put on your calendar your vacations, whether they're 2-day weekend jaunts or a week or 2 weeks, put it on your calendar and just have trust and faith that you're going to be able to set that up. Because I can guarantee the year's going to be over and you will not have taken a vacation because you didn't put it in your calendar. All right, I digress. And then making sure that you have self-care to do on your list. Those are the planning things for 2018. I want you to get the depth of how this one element, right, wealth consciousness, will change how you plan ahead. Upgrading your relationship with money and that wealth consciousness will literally change how you make decisions, and this will shift the trajectory of your life. It's that profound. And you'll be hearing from me about some clients and what happened with them. So it's all possible, this recalibration and this change in wealth consciousness, your relationship with money, it's all possible when you put in the work to recalibrate your thoughts, your behaviors, your habits, and such with money. And I'm inviting you to take more control of your future while being courageous. This takes courage, everyone. This is not something that's going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's not an easy thing, but it is long lasting and it will absolutely change your life, right? It's about transforming you, right? But it's for, again, I'm inviting you to take more control of your future while being courageous to face those concerns about money so you can stand for your worth and your dignity finally, right? How about a high five for that? So no more caving into other people's money stories during your sales process. Pricing and closing sales begin with your own money relationship and what you unconsciously feel you're worth. Then we lean on a proven sales system that screens out the unmatched potential clients so your time is not wasted on less than desirable leads. Right? In other words, you got to have a screening process in place. Just because you're in business doesn't mean you're supposed to talk to everyone that inquires about your services. You do that, you're going to stay frustrated and broke. It's not going to work. Right? And I'll be going through this in a little bit. Anyway, you will learn today about not negotiating your truth about your relationship with money. Because what happens is we tend to, and it's a complete human condition. You're not alone. Happens with everyone. Happened with me. It's just part of life. Is we will tend to negotiate our truth about our relationship with money. Like, okay, I may be in avoidance, or I may be in fear, I may be in worry. But we end up making it okay, or we rationalize, or what have you. And what we're doing is we're actually in denial. And the good news is you're here and you're not in denial. You're here to really work on this. So again, I acknowledge you for that. But what I'm having you do is give yourself and your family an incredible gift, right? Because what you're doing, ideally, is you're breaking your family money legacy, right? And a money legacy is this. It means habits and behaviors and mindset that's been passed down to you generation after generation, and it's no fault of anybody's. You literally are living out what you've been taught as a child with your relationship with money, right? And it's a generational thing. It's just like anything else we're imprinted upon. And therein lies the core of all this. So I aspire for you to be proud of yourself that you're taking the lead in your family to change that legacy. And I'm here to validate you have a choice. You may not have even known you had a choice. I know I didn't. When my coach initially 6 years ago, I think it was 7 years ago, when she came up with this certification course, which is called Money Breakthrough Method, which is exactly what I ended up adding to my coaching services. When I took that course and became certified, I did not realize I had a choice to be anything different with money. I just knew I was very frustrated with it, and it wasn't producing the results I wanted in life. So I knew I had some work to do. All right, because what we do is we take on our family's habits and behaviors and about money unbeknownst to us, and we act it out in our adult lives. So most important is I'm helping you, as I mentioned, begin to break this old money legacy, habits, emotions, behaviors, mindset, right, around money that's been passed down to you from generation to generation. And now you get to literally create, as of today, I'm going to be helping you at least begin to create your own new money legacy. It's like you've got a clean slate, right? I'm giving you the opportunity to give you a beautiful clean slate to start fresh and new with new mindset, new habits, new behaviors, right? Okay. All right. So, in fact, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what that might look like. Here's a client of mine, Kathy and Brian Johnson. And Kathy is a co-owner of a 90-year-old family-owned organic garden soil product company. She was in my Money Legacy or my Money Breakthrough Method program since early 2016. It'll be the end of 2017, so we're almost 2-year mark. But she was looking for a way to have a much more healthy and conscious relationship with money, because she had and has an inheritance that she's going to be leaving for her children. And she wanted to make sure not only was she cleaning up her money stuff, right, but she was also setting good examples and a role model for her children. So she hired me to obviously work with her on this. And she is in the multiple millions. So this money legacy and money training, it's not just for people that are in a low 5 figures. It's for anybody, all right? So that's the reason why I'm really focusing on Kathy at the moment, is because some people have this misconception that perhaps this training is only for people that are struggling. No. It's for everybody, right? Everyone is imprinted at birth and beyond, and then obviously in your childhood. So anyway, what Kathy came out of that with some wonderful tools and a new calibrated relationship with money, that she's no longer in avoidance. She was in avoidance of looking at her numbers, believe it or not. She was in fear of taking a stand for her boundaries with her children or on money. I mean, the list goes on and on. It was so good in that she hired me then to work with her family and her 3 college-age children, right? And what we did is we worked for about 3 months in the summer. It was 2 summers ago. And we worked together in helping them with the value of money and really how to set themselves up not only to be smart about money, but be smart about the inheritance that they were going to be getting later on in life. She really wanted desperately to set a good example, her and her husband Brian, because prior to the training is that they had no boundaries, no value of money, the children. They spent money any way they wanted, and it was basically out of control. And Kathy was in fear and worry and doubt a lot. Today she's empowered, as is her children, with their money discussions, and her husband, while she's having money discussions with her husband, at least she's got the tools if things go awry, and she can go back to the tools. And I'm still working with her, as a matter of fact. In any discussion she has with her team, accountant, attorney, you name it. This is all possible for you too. All right. So we're going to cover today strategies to remain firm on your pricing, secrets to setting our boundaries for empowering money conversations. Is it true that we attract who we are in our lead generation and our sales process? I'm going to share with you some of my few golden nuggets from my success strategies with raising your wealth consciousness. We're going to, talk about how to determine if you're properly priced, appropriate and effective strategies to increasing pricing at periodic intervals, so once or twice a year. And then I'm going to give you some empowering questions for you to take a look at where you are with a higher revenue state of mind or not. And of course, I'm going to be then walking you through something that you can do beyond today for the next 5 weeks, all right? And then I'm going to have live Q&A for you. All right, very good. So who am I? Who's Marla? I'm a success coach for high-achieving creative entrepreneurs and professionals who are committed to upgrading to the next level, right, of life and business, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. I come from a very holistic model when I coach. It's not just about the business and the systems and the strategies. I work with you. I work with recalibrating and shifting you and your habits, behaviors, and mindset. And I use that through the catalyst of your relationship with money. Because once that is in place, or at least on its way to healing itself, everything else in your life starts to change, right? We're holistic. We're integrative. All right. My new Renaissance Woman brand speaks to visionaries, right, and thought leaders who are ready to rise above that crazy, insane density and that noise, right, that's online and stand out as a unique brand. And you do that by working on yourself first because you are your brand of your business, right? My brand also resonates with the change that women are craving today. They're craving out of overwhelm and masculine energy and into this feminine power of intuition and joy and confidence and fulfillment and letting go and legacy, right? And I bring over 30 years of entertainment PR, entrepreneurship, branding, personal growth, professional development, mentoring, coaching, and philanthropy to you and to all my clients. All right. So one of my success principles to live by, and it's one of my main tenets that I coach on, and that's gratitude, right? Another high five for gratitude. Because living in gratitude more often is not just a good feeling, but it's a surefire way to raise your frequency, right? We are energetic. We live in an energetic universe, and everything is made of energy. And gratitude, being in a state of gratitude, has a high frequency to it. Think of yourself as like a radio with a radio wave, right? And you have this energy around you. When we live in gratitude, even in times of uncertainty, everyone, even in times of uncertainty, when you live in gratitude, you are setting yourself up to manifest and attract to you more of the good, right? So the habit of gratitude is a multiplier of good. The more you're in gratitude, the more you end up creating things to be grateful for, all right? Domino effect. So when we live more often in gratitude, we attract people, situations, money, ideas, right? Emails, invitations to events, and more that lead to a result that allows you to be grateful more, right? It's perpetuating. So I aspire for you to have a new habit. And that new habit is to journal every day and script an intentional day, right? I want you to script an intentional day before you start talking to the world. And in your journal that you are not only writing 5 things that you're grateful for, right? And if you're already doing that, awesome. Make it 10, make it 20. If you're not, get started, right? So write a minimum of 5 things you're grateful for seen and unseen. And what I mean by that is make sure that you're not only grateful for things that are already in your life, but that you make a statement as if it's already here in gratitude for something that you want to achieve, right? That's called faith. So it's grateful for things seen and unseen, because again, it raises your frequency and sets you up for a grounded day. All right, so I want you to think about this. Why, when there's so much money on this planet, and there is, we live in a very abundant universe, why would God's Spirit make it difficult for you to bring in money for the purpose of you giving more of your gifts and talents? Think about that. The only thing that needs to be changed and recalibrated and shifted is this up here and this here in your heart, right? It's here for you. It's just called help getting some support from someone like myself, hence why you're here. And then, of course, what I'm going to be showing you for the next 5 weeks, what you can choose. Anyway, I want you to say goodbye to your old money mindset and welcome in a new, savvy, dignified relationship with money that represents the life you deserve, right? And overall, I want you to have a healing of your money relationship that gives you peace and calm and liberation and the ability to be more present, more creative, rather than operating from stress and angst, right? Okay, so here's my story for those of you that are new to my world. So I spent about 22 years in the entertainment industry as a publicist. I worked with celebrities and visual and performing artists, and I was using traditional PR, radio, TV, newspaper, magazines for my clients and putting them into the media. And I was building human brands, personal brands, for the entertainment industry for, like I said, 22 years. And 13 years of that was my own agency. I had my own PR agency. And I worked out of my home while I raised my now 26-year-old son, as you can see on the slide. Taylor is one of my proudest achievements in life. He's now in Colorado, in Denver, succeeding in his own real estate investing career. And I'm super, super proud of him. But I raised him as a single mom after I divorced his father when he was 6 years old. I was married for 8 years, and then I moved into a liberated life, and I ended up raising Taylor on my own in an environment of positivity. I went to seminars like Tony Robbins all the time, Jack Canfield, you name it. I raised him in a place of higher frequency, the best I could as a single mom, while I was running my PR agency. And I loved it. It was a ton of fun. Highly creative, and I got to use my degree. I have a degree in PR journalism from San Diego State. So I was there. I was in the Hollywood game doing the red carpet events, the magazine shoots, the parties, everything. It was a ton of fun till around year 20. When everything really started to not become fun for me anymore and I needed to evolve. My passion was waning. It was literally this internal, intuitive diviners that said, Marla, it's time to move on and it's time to affect more lives. And around that same time, around 2006, is when, by the way, social media was coming on the horizon. And my industry, PR, was evolving, right? It was innovating into this thing called social media and blogs, and I had no idea what was going on. All I knew is I needed to pull back. I needed to reinvent me. And what I ended up doing is letting go of that career, and about 6 months later is when I got introduced to a mentor and a coach, and that's when my entire life changed. I found someone that was doing the coaching, the mentoring, which I didn't even know I was going to be doing that. And they were showing me how I can take my expertise of 20 years and turn that into coaching and mentoring. And therein lies what happened. In 2008, I launched my coaching business and integrated all of who I was, the spirituality, the universal law, the love of branding, the love of mentoring people, entrepreneurship, you name it. It became then my platform for helping changing lives. And today I celebrate 9 years of doing that. And here we are. So, by the way, one part of my story more recently, 2 months ago, I spent a month in Florence, Italy. There are some of those photos that are on my slide. And that was another time in my life where I needed an intuitive, I had an intuitive hunch that I needed a change. And I had hit a wall this year, and it was an emotional, creative wall. I know I needed to get out. As far as travel, I needed to really find what was going on for me. And as well, honor a dream I'd had my entire adult life, which was to go live and work in Italy. So I did for a month, and it was an amazing experience. Came back a completely changed woman, created a new brand called the New Renaissance Woman, and I came back home to myself, and now I'm on a new trajectory, and I'm excited, and here we are. All right, enough of my story. So, show me the money. All right. Here is the format we're going to use right now and for the rest of the training. And that is, check the time, perfect. Okay, I got perfect time. So here's what I'm going to do, is I have very specific questions about pricing and selling that came directly from clients over the years, from all my creative business entrepreneur clients. And these are super common, and it made perfect sense to me to create a webinar around these very questions that keep popping up all the time in all my coaching sessions. So I know you can definitely benefit from this, and it will open up a conversation for us if you choose to have one. So these are the actual questions we're going to go over. Strategies to remain firm on pricing, secrets to setting our boundaries for empowering money conversations, how can we determine if we're properly priced, and what are good strategies basically to increase your pricing. Okay, after I address that, I'll go ahead and open it up for some Q&A, and you can raise your hand, you can type in the chat box, or if you raise your hand, I'll actually unmute you and you can talk with me. And everyone will hear your audio. They won't see you, they'll just hear you. So your choice, typing in your question, or my preference would be to talk and unmute you. Okay. After that, we will then talk about wealth consciousness, some of my gold nuggets. And then I will go through after that an option beyond today's webinar. If you see this fit for you, where you want to really dive in and recalibrate your money relationship and how to enhance your business revenues. And then we will go into, after that, I have a transformational exercise for you that will really help you measure your worth and your value. Okay? All right. And by the way, all those, again, those two options, the chat and the raising your hand, it's at the bottom of your screen. And when I'm ready, I'll let you know. Okay, very good. So the first question, what are strategies for remaining firm on your pricing? This is a loaded question because there is so much that goes into this. So pricing begins with your own money relationship and what you unconsciously feel you are worth. Let me say that again, is pricing begins with your own money relationship and what you unconsciously feel you are worth. Because the real question, when I saw this question coming from a client, the real question, and this is what I said to them, is that, am I worth what I'm asking? And do I believe in my own worth and my value? Because then the strategies are going to work, right? So what are the strategies for remaining firm on pricing? Believe in your worth and believe in your value, right? Here's some more tips. So the fast answer to that question is, this is probably going to be the first time you're going to hear this, and I love this. It's a huge light bulb moment for every client. Here it is. Don't buy into other people's money story while in the sales process. Here's the truth, everyone, is that every human being has a money story that they carry around with them every day. Right? I kind of mentioned this in the beginning here. And when they come to your sales meeting, they're bringing their money story. and let me say this right here and now, their money stuff, again, no fault of their own, right? No fault of your own till you learn how to shift it and recalibrate it. But their money story has nothing to do with your worth or your value. And their money story has things like wanting discounts, not understanding your value, having their own fears, their own doubts, their own shame, their own guilt around money. And none of that has any bearing on your worth and your value and your pricing. All right? That's $1 million nugget right there. Right? So when you're cleaning up your own money story, and here's then what follows, is when you are courageous enough to clean up your own money stuff, here's what starts to happen. Is you start to notice and you can spot other people's money story while you're in your sales process or in any money conversation. And you're able then not to buy into it, right? Because you're recognizing it, and you're able to stand in your power for your worth and your value. Does that make sense? All right. So also part of this whole process of remaining firm on your pricing has to do too with a proven sales funnel system that qualifies your potential clients, right? That will set you up for higher caliber, right, potential client meeting. So this whole concern about what strategies, to remain firm on your pricing, one is if you have a sales funnel system, which by the way, it's what I coach, it's what I'll be sharing with you later today and how to do that, or an opportunity how to do that, is that when you have that sales funnel, you're actually qualifying people all along the way to the point when you get to your sales meeting, whether it's in person or on the phone, not email, not text, right? You're in that meeting, is that by that time they've qualified themselves to talk to you. Typically, you're not going to have a challenge with these pricing because they're going to be a higher caliber based on how you qualified them. And I have a system for that. Okay. So I want to stress on this is that you're going to have all control in your meeting around the pricing strategies based on everything that I've just shared. Okay. So let me share with you a quick story now about when they do or if people do ask about your fees prior to a sales meeting. Right? Whether it's on the phone, maybe they've sent an email, or in this case, here's a client story. Someone has Facebook messaged them, right? And they're asking them about their service and they're asking about what their price is. So I call those tire kickers. So here's what I don't want you to do. Excuse me. I don't want you to be pulled into their question. I want you to stand in your power. I grab some water. Hold on a minute. I want you to stand in your power, and here's some strategies on how to do it. Do not cave in to somebody wanting to only care about your pricing and not who you are, not what your value is. And here's an example. One of my DJ production company clients, fabulous guy, he was sent a Facebook message, and he was in the middle of this program that he was in with me. So he was just getting accustomed to recalibrating this standing in his power and not being pulled away from that and being able to lead people to his sales funnel system, which is actually a form that somebody has to fill out on your website, right? That's part one of people qualifying for your time to talk about your services. Anyway, this gentleman was Facebook messaging him all about what his rates were and so forth, and he did get pulled into it, and it's okay. It was part of his learning process, and we all talked about it in the group. But come to find out, of course, the guy was definitely tire kicking. That's what you don't want. Is that all you're going to say, everybody, is when someone asks about your pricing prior to them qualifying to have a conversation with you, is that you can offer them a range. Say, absolutely, my range is $2,500 to $10,000. let's just say I'm just throwing out numbers, 2,500 to 10,000, depending on what we're going to work on and depending on what it is that you need. That's it, and it's pretty fair, and that should also be on your website, by the way, under your services page. It should say services beginning at or starting at, and then you fill in the blank, right? Whatever that number is for probably your lowest package. So at least people get an idea of what that range is, and then they move forward on that. Okay, so please change your habits where you talk about money. Still under this topic here. Never in text and never in email. And I'm going to give this a specific qualification. If it's $1,000 or more, you need to be qualifying somebody to have a conversation with you over the phone, right? Or in person. Preferably over the phone. And what you're going to do is it's a two-step process. You're going to first get them on the phone to just have an introductory 20-minute call just to kind of get to know each other. And you're going to let them know ahead of time the intention of the call. Not to talk about pricing. It's not to talk about anything other than what's going on with them, getting to know each other. It's just like courting, everybody. It's like courting like you're dating, right? You're not going to give it all up on your first date, right? You want to get to know the person. Then in that introductory 20-minute call, that's when then you are kind of testing this out, seeing if this is somebody that might be a potential client. Then you can invite them to what I call as a discovery call, right? Or evaluation or a consultation call. And then you end up inviting them and scheduling that call. It needs to be about 45 minutes. And they are to then fill out a form, right? And you're going to send them the form. It could be a PDF form or it could be preferably on your website under contact. And they're going to fill this form out. Okay, that I'm giving you a little tip on what the sales funnel system is so that you're qualifying people. So my point is, don't ever talk about money over email, right? Or text or Facebook or Instagram, anything other than a phone or in person. Because what you're doing is you're giving away your power. Money is a respectful, or I should say sales is a respectful conversation between you and the other person. And there needs to be this beautiful energy of money and respect and dignity so that you have a two-way conversation. What I find clients doing, again, no fault of their own until they get, coached and trained, is they'll send their pricing and they'll send their information over email and hope and pray that the person is okay with it. All right, that's not going to work, everyone. That's just not going to work. So the good news is I have the solution to it. Okay, let's move on to another question. Whoopsie. Oh, my goodness sakes. Okay. Well, all right, so you don't have to be perfect to do a webinar. Jeez. So the question is, how can we determine if we're properly priced? Okay. The answer is percentage of closed sales. Oh, good. Perfect on timing. The answer to that is the percentage of closed sales. You need to have at least 75% of your closed sales to show that you're properly priced, and here's why. You don't want 90 to 100% of your sales closed. You know why? It means that you need to raise your rates. It means that everybody's going for your package, your services, whatever it is, and that's on some level, sure, that's a positive, but what it's telling you is that everyone is saying yes, and therefore you aren't making the money you really want to be making, and you're not leveraging yourself, meaning I want you working less and making more. And that means raising your rates so that you're working with a higher caliber client. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. All right. Number 3 question is, what are the good strategies for effectively increasing your pricing at periodic intervals throughout the year? All right. So you should increase your rates at least 10% for inflation and cost of living. Hey, at the beginning of this year, and I don't know about you, but almost every service I have had an increase, right? My health insurance, my cable, my cell phone. It's like I got letter after letter, email after email that people were increasing their rates, right? Or these services were increasing the rates. You should too. It's just the cost of doing business and the cost of living. Excuse me. So must. However, let me give you a caution. The success of this increase that you're going to do is often dictated what? By your own wealth consciousness. Are you at a mindset that you believe you could achieve that particular rate and that price? In other words, if you feel that you can confidently sell at a rate that's higher and not flinch, right, and not have the butterflies, then you're good. If you've got the butterflies, if you're unsure of that, right, and you're not feeling very confident, you've got some work to do, right? You've got some work to do on your mindset and your wealth consciousness, right? Because it has to do with your self-worth, has to do with that relationship with money, has to do with your own value, all the things we've been talking about. So another question to ask yourself under this topic about raising your rates is ask yourself, do you have any fears about your own ability to serve others at a higher rate, right? Again, ask yourself, do you have any fears about your own ability to serve others at a higher rate? This is super, super common. It was for me, it is for all my clients. Every time we work on raising their rates, and by the way, I do that with all my clients, right? It's always time for raising their rates because they've been afraid to do that. Is the first thing we have to work on is, yeah, they can choose a number, but what we end up working on is not only their wealth consciousness, but their fears and their concerns about their ability to work with somebody at that higher rate. And it doesn't mean taking on more. It just means that your value raises. It doesn't mean you're taking on more work because your rates are increasing. Rates increasing and amount of work are not synonymous, right? It just means you're raising your value. That's all. Doesn't mean you got to do more. Okay. Another question to ask yourself about raising your rates is, who do you see around you as far as friends, colleagues, mentors, clients, celebrities, leaders, right? Are they living their vision and claiming their worth? I want you to use them as inspiration. And this speaks, if you will, to proximity. You are typically making, everybody, you're typically making the income that's close to the 5 people you most hang out with. Kind of think about that, is that the higher level that people are making, meaning you want to be with people that are either at your level or above, and you want to make sure you're hanging out with them most often. That's the reason why mastermind programs are super important. You take a look at the types of friends that you're hanging out with, the colleagues and so forth. Every time I go through this with my clients and they are in a program with me, a coaching, whether it's group, whether it's one-on-one, is they start to evolve, right? They start to innovate who they are. They start to have a higher consciousness around their wealth and their value. And as a result, they start changing things in their environment and in their life. And part of that is the people that they hang out with, all right? I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me give you another client story about raising rates. So Richard Martinez, who's a wonderful, wonderful talent man, a professional in the event industry. He has luxury entertainment group, and they have DJ, live music, and so forth. When Richard was in a group program of mine, that was, I believe, 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, but I'll never forget this story, where he was just learning how to take a stand for his rates. He's in the middle of a sales call, I should say sales meeting, and when he was ready to present his new rates, his higher rates, the prospective client asked him if he could lower that rate, offer him a discount, because other DJ and production company people were offering him a different rate. And he had to take all the power he could in him, because he was just starting this new mindset, is he said, well, that the rate I gave you is my savings rate, because in 7 days, that rate will go up another $1,000. So these are some of the things, by the way, hint, that I teach, is that when you're offering a specific rate, It needs to be a 7-day rate with a limiter or an expiration date on it, and it is a savings rate, right? So you will no longer have people asking you for discounts, because you're going to be very clear in how you offer that special rate, right, that higher rate, because that is a savings rate, and it will go up if they don't take advantage of that rate right then and there, or basically within 7 days. You give them a 7-day window. So the end of the story of this man that was in the meeting with my client, he initially walked away and did not sign up for the services, but what he did is he came back a couple days later. And what he realized is he honored Richard's boundaries, and he honored Richard's value, because Richard was firm. He stood strong in his rate. And when the guy realized that if this guy has a higher rate, it means he has a higher value. So he came back and he ended up paying Richard's rate. Okay, therein lies, right? Sticking to your guns, everybody. Okay, so very good. So now it looks like it's time to ask any questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint. I'm going to come onto the screen, I guess the full screen, and I'm going to open it up for you to either use the chat box or raise your hand and ask me a question. So I'll do that. If for any reason you don't have any, that's fine. I'll go back to the PowerPoint, but let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and do that. So hang tight. All right, so I'm going to stop the share. Okay, cool. Oh, there we are. Okay, good. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Good. All right, so I've got a couple people on. A few people here. Do you have any questions around the topic that I've been covering thus far? And if you do, raise your hand at the bottom of the screen, or type it in. And I'll give you about 10 seconds or so, 20 seconds to think about it. I'm going to take a sip. And if you don't, like I said, I'll go ahead and go back to the webinar. Okay, so again, raise your hand or type in the chat box. Give you another 10 seconds and then we'll go back. I know sometimes it can be a little bit nerve-wracking to do that, so I understand. It's okay if you don't have any questions. Okay. All right, very good. So let's do this. I'm going to go back to our, we'll try this first. See if this will work. I may have to do it again. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to go back to this. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay, good. Okay, terrific. All right, and by the way, if you have questions that come up, everybody, go ahead and write them down, and you can either ask later in the webinar, or you're welcome to email me, right? Okay, so wealth consciousness. Here's some golden nuggets. Very good. So wealth consciousness is this, and a couple of golden nuggets, is the key to attracting the higher paying client is not to be afraid to ask for your real fees, right? And stand for your worth, right? So I just gave you an example what happened with Richard. And you have to upgrade your wealth consciousness in order to do that. And here's another golden nugget, is that in the pricing sales scenario, we attract who we are. So while you're out there and you're looking for different types of clients, whether you're in networking situations, maybe you're doing email marketing, you're doing social media, whatever it is that you're doing, Herein lies why it's so super important to upgrade your wealth consciousness and your relationship with money. We attract who we are. So if you find that you've got tire kickers and discount-seeking type of prospective clients, it's just a mirror where you're at. So obviously it'll benefit you if you work on your relationship with money. Right? Remember, that was a huge wake-up call for me about, 7 years ago, when I was 2 years into my coaching, my coaching business, and my mentor was really working with me on my wealth consciousness and my relationship with money, because I was attracting lovely people, absolutely, loved them, but they weren't at a consciousness, or I should say a frequency of a higher rate that I wanted to offer. So I worked on me first. Okay? All right. So my 6 secrets, this is still part of wealth consciousness. My 6 secrets to a healthy money relationship are this. Nurture money by knowing what is coming and going, revenue-wise, in your business. Number 2, respect money by setting stronger boundaries in your money conversations. Speak in gratitude about money all the time. Be careful about what you're talking about, who you talk to about money. And in fact, I highly recommend, if you're in a conversation with somebody around money and they're kind of a negative Nilly, see if you can shift the conversation to be more positive, or if not, then walk away, right? Do not tolerate people talking negatively about money, or it's the economy, or whatever it is that's going on. Just help them out, inspire them to shift their mindset around it. Okay, number 4 is bless money daily. You can do that in your journaling. You can do that 3 times a day. Maybe set an alarm, right, on your phone to remind you to bless the money that you have. You have so many technology, or I should say apps today to help you with that. So remind yourself a couple times a day to bless the money you have and bless the money that's coming to you, right? Remember, it's being grateful for things seen and unseen. Right? Number 5 is take care of money by staying in relationship with your numbers. Those numbers, I know, this is a very, very common challenge with every client I work with. Again, no fault of their own, is that once they realize what their numbers are, what their profit and loss statement is, a couple times a year. In fact, by the way, I have my bookkeeper send me my profit and loss statement in the middle of the year so I can compare it to where I'm at with my revenue goals. You've got to stay in touch with your numbers. And I'm talking monthly, and I have a wonderful, which many of my clients have been trained on, I have a wonderful tracking system. And it's a daily tracking system on what revenues are coming in and how you can look at that every day so that you are measuring what your not only your wealth consciousness, but obviously your revenues and your sales goals. So if you're at, let's say, day 10 of the month and you're far from your month-end goal, you've got some things to work on, obviously. You've got some, your mindset around money, your relationship with money, then obviously anything you're doing around actual sales and strategies. So being in relationship with your numbers and not being in avoidance of it, not being afraid of the numbers is going to really empower you a lot. All right, and then number 6 is behave courageously by asking for what you're worth, ladies. Asking for what you're worth rather than what you think you can get. I'm going to say this again. This is number 6 of how to be in relationship with money. That's powerful. Is behave courageously by asking for what you're worth rather than what you think you can get. It's okay, you're not alone. You're not alone. This is why coaching and mentoring is so incredibly crucial. You're not going to get there on your own. There's not one human being on this earth that can figure this out on their own. Yeah, there are books. Yes, there's tapes, audios. Yes, there's webinars like this. But until you actually spend some time and invest in you, invest your money, invest your time with an expert, asking for what you're worth rather than what you think you can get, it's going to come hard to you. It did to me. It does to all my clients. No one's exempt from this, right? Okay. So those were my 6 secrets to a healthy money relationship. So now what I want to do is I'm going to share with you what I've come up with moving forward beyond today. And what I've done is I've prepared a 5-week program. But let me talk about this first. And that is, it's time to, and let me kind of get through this before we go to the webpage, is that it's time to disrupt your business model and your personal branding messaging to rise above the insane density online. But first, you need to change your money relationship, because it's through the catalyst of your money relationship and recalibrating it that you're going to show up online as a powerful brand, because you are the brand of your business, not your business, right? That's personal branding. And that the fact that you are the brand of your business, when you shift your relationship with money, everything changes in your life, especially who you are and your vibe. So when you show up online as a personal brand after you've recalibrated your relationship with money and you have the tools to consistently work on it, you're going to be a powerful brand and you're going to show up above this density. And let me tell you, it's insane, right? All right. So we have to first work on your relationship with money, and then you change the conversation online through your branding. And then you become a thought leader, right, who impacts your industry with innovation. Okay. So the healing of your money relationship becomes, again, a catalyst for lasting change in making decisions, in your behavior, in your habits, and in your mindset. And here's how. I'm going to give you these examples, and I'm going to go to the webpage. Is when you stop caving into discounts during a sales conversation, right? This is, again, a marker of you healing your relationship, is when you stop caving into discounts during a sales conversation and you stand for your worth and dignity by committing to your real rates and actually getting them, right? You create what? A sense of a newer confidence, certainty, and credibility. And that confidence and certainty and credibility, it transfers to all parts of your life. It's not just about money, right? Because we're integrative human beings, which I mentioned. So if you take that common saying is a rising tide lifts all ships, it means when you shift that relationship with money, fear and doubt and worry and shame or guilt and not owning your power around money, is that when that shifts, everything else in your life and all your relationships and how you look at life and how you have money conversations with your spouse, it all changes, right? Which, by the way, I do work with couples and their money. So, all right, so let's go to, I'm going to go share the web page. Make sure this works okay. Aha, there it is. Awesome. So the web page, and you can write this down and you'll be getting it in an email too, is that the web page is marladiane.com/step into wealth and power, right? /step into wealth and power. So what I've done is I've created a 5-week, I call it a fast track virtual live course. All right, this is going to be through a teleclass and handouts and a private Facebook page and all of that. And it's going to help you achieve and leverage your 2018 revenue goals. We're going to be going through everything that we've talked about today, right? But I'm doing it in a virtual format rather than a live training, like in person. And this will give you the opportunity really to finally approach this money relationship so that your sales goes, obviously your sales revenues change, and all the things I've been mentioning, right? In fact, I want to point out here, so it says, regardless of income levels, large or small, and you saw that with Kathy, remember my client, who's in the multiple millions. She had, I emphasize had, money relationship challenges. She never looked at her money stuff, right? And she moved into adulthood and a fairly large company that she runs and helps run or co-owns. She had stuff as much as my 5-figure, right? My clients that are below 6 figures. So please know that it's for everybody. Anyway, regardless of income levels, we all carry the money stories and so forth, and it's no fault of anybody's. It's imprinted at childhood. So those habits and behaviors, again, that might show up in your life is uncertainty with asking for higher rates. You know you're ready for an up level in how your brand is perceived. Remember I just said, but you're unsure how to navigate that. And that's about brand perception. Well, it all starts with this money thing, honestly. It just does. Be in judgment, right, about money, maybe feel worry and shame and guilt and so forth. Again, these are the before picture. This is maybe some of where you're at. Maybe you ignore money by not knowing your numbers and your revenues and your expenses daily. Ignoring bank statements, P&L statements, not relating to the power of wealth, right? And feeling uncomfortable. And this is super common. I know I felt that way, and all my clients feel that way until they move into a higher wealth consciousness. It's just part of evolution. We're not going to feel empowered with money because we weren't taught how until you are taught, and that's what I do is I help really kind of clean the slate and help you create this new money legacy and how you're empowered with money at any level. Another habit is disrespecting money. Maybe you have an issue paying bills. And again, that thing I talked about, speaking negatively to others about money. Those are the before picture. All right. Again, no fault of your own. And a healthy, thriving money relationship, all right, needs to be no different. Here's a real key, everyone, is that it's no different than the relationship you have. And that's a healthy, thriving money relationship. It's no different than the one you have with your best loyal friend or beloved family member. It's respected, it's blessed, it's enjoyed, you're trusting, you're positive, you're dedicated, you're patient, you're conscious. Those are all the characteristic traits of you with a relationship that works for you in your life, right? A human being. It's no different than money. Right? Money deserves to be respected. Money deserves to be blessed. Money is a beautiful energy in your life. All right? Okay. So inspire you to nurture money. We went through that. You can go to the webpage on your own. You can read. Amani was, excuse me, Amani is a wonderful leader in the event industry, and he learned how to be firm with his pricing, and he changed his pricing, he raised it, and there's so many other things that he loved, like he talked about the sales funnel. Keisha, beautiful photographer in the event wedding industry, she had profound mindset shifts, right? Richard again, and so forth. So let's scroll down. You can read through that on your own. Of course, Lisa, which I think you're on here, Lisa. Lisa, my gosh, she's this wonderful photographer. And she went from having a job and doing this part-time while she was working with us in our program. And she had the courage and the guts to finally go full-time in a photography business. And I'm super proud of her. And she, as she says, Marla gave me a lot of tools in our program. The most favorite was the mindset and the power to say no, allowing great things to come. And also her relationship with money. So you can read her wonderful testimonial and so forth. We've got Mendable Events. Those of you that know Barbie Walters she's a wedding planner. And so forth. All right. So what I'm doing is offering this at an incredibly affordable rate. This is crazy. I want you to be ready, right? I want you to be ready for 2018. So that's why I'm calling it a fast track. So what I'm doing is literally, this is till November 11th, because the program starts November 14th. It is 5 consecutive Tuesdays, November 14, 21, 28, December 5, and 12, December 12, from 1 to 2:30. It's 90-minute phone calls. And we're going to be going through all these scenarios and all of this training around your relationship with money to up-level it. The rate is only $497. And if you bring a friend and pay this in full, you get to bring somebody for free. So the $497 rate is good until November 11th. And you can bring a friend, a spouse, anyone you want for free. So it essentially is $250 per person, right? But you're going to pay for it in full. And this early bird rate is also good until the 11th, and then it goes to $997, right? So you're saving $500. All right. And then if you need a 2-pay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I've set it up so you can do 2 payments of $275. That rate also is good till the 11th. The next payment will be due on December 1st, which we will process in my office. So to secure the rate, and if you want 2-pay, you end up paying $275 now, and then you pay $275 December 1st. I'm making this super easy for y'all because I really, really want to see people changing their relationship with money and being in power. All right, very good. So again, it all ends on the 12th. And then if any of you are interested in and you prefer having one-on-one, or you want to supplement this program one-on-one, one of many ways that you can do that is with my private VIP day. And it's a half a day or a full day. A half day is $2,500. A full day, which is about 7 hours with me, is $5,000. All right, so you can see the difference here. Get yourself going in one way or another. All right, very good. Again, that's marladiane.com/step into wealth and power. Okay, let's move back now to the last part of our webinar. Okay, a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. All right. Okay. So, secrets to creating a higher revenue state of mind. This is the very last part, the last 15 minutes. So, we sent you in the email, a couple of the emails, excuse me, is we sent you a handout. If you don't have it, it's okay. Just don't be scrambling for it. It's all right. You can take some notes and then get it later. But if you have it, take a look at it because I'm going to be going through this. This is an actual exercise that I take some of my clients through, and it's going to help you start to look at literally a bigger picture for you and your worth and your value. So I want you to follow along, and I want you to write these things down. Get a piece of paper if you don't have the handout, and then I'll open it up for discussion if you want to go ahead and make some comments on this. All right. So the first question, in fact, it's called Secrets to Creating a Higher Revenue State of Mind. And these are 9 empowering questions to raise your wealth consciousness. Right? So number 1 on the handout is, how much is the most you've ever charged for your services? Right? How much is the most you've ever charged for your services? Go ahead and write down that number. So think about what's the most you've ever charged, let's say for whether it was a program, a package, whatever it is, and write that down. So let's just say, I'm going to pull a number out of my hat. So let's say the most you've ever charged was $7,500. Let's just say $7,500 is the most you've charged for whether you're a wedding planner, you're a photographer, you're a floral designer, you're a DJ production company, you're an image stylist, you're a producer, you're a production, anything that's creative, right? So anyways, let's just say it's 7,500. I know there's ones that are much higher. So 7,500. Now here's what I want you to do, is I want you to now put a 0 at the end of that number. So look at your number. Now add a 0 to that. And in this case, I added a 0 to the 7,500. It now reads $75,000. I want you to kind of take a deep breath, and I want you to just wrap your heart and your head around that for a moment. I want you to imagine, right? We're putting you in the as-if state of mind. And in this case, with this number here I'm using, $75,000 is one of your new services or packages that you offer. I know it sounds completely out of this world, but there's a whole method to this madness of mine, so hang tight. All right, so you now have that number. Number 2 question is, as someone who charges that amount, that's the new amount with the extra 0, what do you focus on during your day? If you're making that amount of money and you are of that value and that worth, think about it. What do you focus on during your day? Right? So that's number 2. Number 3 question is, as someone who charges that amount, what do you delegate? Right? What do you delegate? That right there, in fact, I think it's at least a couple sessions on just that one topic, is how to leverage and how to delegate and how to get out of the do-it-yourself mindset, if that's where you're at. Maybe you already have a team, or you already have people working with you, and now you need to leverage more, and you need to move up, and you need to add another person to your team. Doesn't matter where you're at in your business. So as someone who charges that amount, what do you delegate? And I know delegation, especially for women, can be a challenge. Right? For men, not so much, but I do definitely have some men that are stuck in a do-it-yourself mindset because they're good about being very laser focused, but they actually need to leverage themselves and start delegating more. All right, number 4. Number 4 question, as someone who charges that amount, right, in this case, $75,000, as someone who charges that amount, what do you get rid of in your environment? What do you get rid of in your environment? I'm talking workspace. Is it cluttered? Does it make you feel like you're at that value? Or is it kind of messy and not organized and you don't have any creative space to really come up with great ideas and feel worthy? Your home, your car, I mean, anything that's an environment, I want you to think about what do you need to get rid of in your environment. If you're someone that is worth that, again, this is wealth consciousness, everyone. Okay, number 5, as someone who charges that amount, right, what do you no longer put up with? What do you no longer tolerate? This is huge. In other words, low-paying clients. These are things you may tolerate. Low-paying clients, a brand that doesn't speak to your value and your worth, brand perception, your career. Another toleration may be a messy desk. It may be lack of boundaries in all parts of your life, not just money. Toleration with your work environment, people you hang out with. So as that person that is making that amount of money or requires that rate, right? What are you no longer going to tolerate? Okay, number 6 is someone who charges that amount. What do you wear? What your clothes look like? What is the image that you're giving out? And here's my take on this. Now, I'm a personal branding expert. And I love working with my clients. I have personal branding programs in addition to the money programs for entrepreneurs. But the personal branding is about you looking and feeling authentic. I don't want you wearing something that is not authentic to who you are. In fact, this is a great example. I had a client last year, and she's a wedding planner, a very well-known wedding planner. And the first thing I did is I looked at her website, and I said, your website does not speak to you. You're a high-end wedding planner. And to me, it looks like you just started. And so there was this image thing that was being presented as her brand. And she says, no one has ever told me that. And she was in business at least 10 years. Right? So today she's got this gorgeous, beautiful website. And that was one of her bigger aha moments in the coaching, right? And it helped raise her wealth consciousness and her rates, right? So not only what do you wear at that rate, right, but really what's your brand? What's your brand perception, right? Number 7, as someone who charges that amount, right, what's one way you can powerfully allow yourself to show up with your clients? How can you show up? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's called dignity. Is that when you show up with your clients, that you have boundaries, right? That you really honor, obviously, their needs, but not at your expense. Right? So how can you show up working with your clients when you know that your value is that? Again, we're working on wealth consciousness, everyone. Okay. Number 8 of 9 questions is, as someone who charges that amount, who are your colleagues? Who do you hang out with? Right? We talked about that. And then number 9, as someone who charges, in this case, $75,000, right? Who are your mentors? Who are you following? Who are you being coached by? What are the types of mentors that you are choosing to be your partner to help you move along and move forward and start a new money relationship and evolve, right? Okay, very good. So here's what I'm going to do is I'll give you just a moment to, if you want to ask a question about any one of these or make a comment. I'd love to hear your comments if you choose. If not, then we'll be complete. Is I'd love for you to share, how did it feel? How did it feel for you to put a 0 on the end of your number? Right? Did it feel uncomfortable? As we went along with the questions, as you start seeing what your life could look like. Because remember, this exercise that you have here, and you have a download for it, it can help put you in the as-if state of mind. Because one of the things I say in my program all the time is make decisions from where you want to be, not where you are. And by holding a place in your mindset and in your journal written and in your heart as if you're already making a certain amount of money, not only will your brain start to want to solve that, but you are creating with universal energy, it's called law of attraction, you will start attracting to you people, opportunities, relationships to assist you in acquiring those types of revenues. Does it happen overnight? No way. You got to work at it, right? But at least you have this. All right. Okay. Anyone? Questions, comments? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. Good, there we are. Very good. So I'll give you one last opportunity if you'd like to make a comment, which I'd love to hear. If not, you can certainly type it into the chat box. And please go to and share this with your colleagues and any of my my current clients or past clients that are on this webinar. Here's an opportunity for you to share with your colleagues that you've been talking about what you've learned. Here's an opportunity for them to really at least begin recalibrating their relationship with money with this program. It's only $497 until the 11th. $500, please. It's an amazing investment in returning your investment. And or if you want to work with me one-on-one, then of course you can email me at support@marladiane.com. All right, very good. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate all you here and those that are on the replay listening in, but go to marladiane.com/step into wealth and power and take a look at that program and refer that to others. It's like pay it forward so that other people get what you're getting if you were a past client or current client. And I will see you all online, and I wish you a wonderful holiday, and I would love to help you between now and December to get your 2018 really kicked up in gear. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.